Hey, what's up everybody? I hope you're doing very well. Today we're taking a look at a preset that I made with the new firmware 3.15 for the HX STOMP XL and the HELIX range. I love the functionalities that this new firmware is adding to the HELIX range, especially the ability to toggle through snapshots with just one switch. So let's take a look at a preset that uses these new functionalities and the new effects from the new firmware. So this preset is designed for the working musician. It doesn't really have any kind of crazy or creative effects going on. It's just something to get the job done, and that has a pretty intuitive layout with the switches, because you want to be able to build muscle memory with your pedal board. You know, especially if you're on a fast-paced situation and you have to learn like a lot of songs and stuff, you don't want to be learning your foot choreography at the same time, and you know, it's just a source of potential mess ups. So what I like to do is to keep the layout the same for all my presets, and I know where everything is. So what I like to do is to keep the layout the same on all of my presets, just to keep that muscle memory of what switch do I click in what situation. So the layout of this preset is pretty simple. The bottom row is the big changes of tones that are controlled by snapshots. So the bottom row, the 3 switches here are snapshots. This controls the ability to switch between preset mode and the view mode of an individual preset, and this is just the tap tempo / tuner. So it's always handy to have that in here. So as I said, the bottom row controls snapshots. This first switch is gonna toggle through snapshot 1 and 2. Now this is one of the new functionalities that this new firmware adds. As you can tell on the switch, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on. So the first switch toggle through snapshot 1 and 2. Snapshot 1 is the clean tone, snapshot 2 is that same clean tone but with a bigger reverb mix, kind of like an ambient thing. Although I'm not much of an ambient player, but in a working musician situation you always need to have like a tone that has a deeper reverb mix with your clean tone. So this is how you access that with the first switch right here. Now snapshot 3 is going to be the rhythm tone, which is like kind of like a crunch, dirty tone, and snapshot 4 is going to be your lead tone. Now the reason why I didn't use a toggle functionality, for example on this switch, to toggle through snapshot 3 and 4 is basically these tones, you need to be able to access them instantly. Like if I'm taking a solo, I just want to click that lead tone and then go for it and don't think about anything else. No double tap, no other stomp boxes to engage. It's just literally one click and it's dialed in. Same for the rhythm tone. If there's a part that needs, you know, a dirty tone or just a hit within a song, you want to make sure that you can just engage that and then come back straight to your clean tone. And then if you want to come back to the ambient, you can just click again and then it will add the reverb mix. So yeah, the top row is essentially a boost. So this switch will give you kind of like a 3 dB boost, just a slight boost for solos. If you're like on the clean tone and you want to take a clean solo, then definitely engage that. It will give you that extra sauce. Then a chorus or any other effect. It could be like a filter, it could be anything you want, but I always assign it on this switch because I don't need like modulation effects or filter effects all the time, so I don't need them to be on the bottom row. So this is kind of like the dangerous switch to access because you have to go over all the other ones with your foot, and since I don't need it that much, this is why the individual effects is here. It's all from experience of clicking the wrong buttons in situations where you can't mess up. And this controls the overall reverb and is more like assigned here so I can turn it off, especially on the clean tone and the rhythm tone. If you need a really dry tone that's gonna cut out straight when you stop playing for like all kind of dramatic effects, I guess in a live show or something, then you definitely need to be able to take that reverb out. And I have to say as well, like the rhythm tone doesn't have any delay going on, and the clean tone, snapshot 1, doesn't have any delay as well going on because I don't like trying to polish tone with delay too much. I feel like a lot of people are hiding behind heavy delay and reverb mixes. If you have a great tone to start with, then you don't need all that extra stuff on top, I think. And your sound engineer will love you as well because it makes your tone so much clearer and easier to mix as well. So yeah, just to recap, clean and the wet clean tone are toggled through this switch. Rhythm tone right here, lead tone right here. If I need more, the boost is gonna work on every snapshot, right? So if I'm taking a solo and I need just more gain, then I can engage that. If I'm on a rhythm tone and I just want more, I engage that. If I want to add some effect sauce on top of any preset, I can just add that chorus, or I can replace it with whatever effect I need for the song. And if I want to turn off the reverb, it's always there. There's also an assignment on the IR block of this preset for expression pedal. I don't have it hooked up right now, but essentially what I found is with the HELIX, when you turn down the master volume to 0, it generates some kind of humming, and when you do it on the volume of the IR block, it doesn't. So I assigned the expression pedal to the volume of the IR block to do all the volume swells and cutouts that you might need to do. So now let me take you through how this preset is actually built. So we're starting with the gate that is controlled by snapshots. I'm on the clean snapshot right now. When I go to the rhythm, it's kind of the same, but when I go to the lead one, that has significantly more gain and distortion going on, the gate goes up 10 dB, so it attenuates a lot more, just so you make sure that your signal stays clean of noise and feedback when you have a lot of gain on the pedal. So that's the first thing, and I think is really important. Then we're using the new MPEG opto comp, which is new for the new firmware, and I think it's really cool. It's very simple, very straightforward, sounds great. Let me do maybe a before after. So this is without, and this is with. So it will just give you that extra sauce, I guess, but it's very subtle. I kind of like it. And still, when you attack kind of hard, especially for the funk stuff, let me turn off the reverb, it will compress really nicely. So that's pretty cool. Then we have the kinky boost that is activated with that switch that's available on any snapshot, and you can actually dial in the amount of boost that you want per snapshots. So that's always cool. If you want, when you're on the lead tone, have more of a boost when you engage that, you can kind of dial it up. And same thing if you want less of a boost when you're on a clean snapshot, then you can dial that as well. Let me do same type of thing, like this is without, this is with, so it will kind of drive the amp a little bit more and just give you that support if you're taking like a line, especially on the clean tone, like it's nice. If I play the same type of thing, it just feels better with the boost on, right? So that's that. So afterwards we have our distortion block that is controlled the on and off by snapshots. So on snapshot 1 and 2 it doesn't do anything, but then on snapshot 3 and 4 it's gonna be on. So it goes through the amp, the Supro, which is my favorite, and then it goes to a custom IR that I made. It was basically an IR of my studio monitors that I made like 3 years ago because I really liked the tone that I was getting, and then I blended this new IR with kind of a room situation. And when you're playing, especially through in-ears, I'm not sure you're gonna be able to tell right here, but when you're playing the unit with like headphones or in-ears, this just makes it sound so much better and feels a lot better too. So I guess with the lead tone is where it's the most apparent. So this is without the IR. If I play just a simple line, same type of thing with, so it just feels a lot better in the low end. It tames a bit of the harshness, and when you're using in-ears and headphones, it just makes it less in your face. Like this is kind of like, I don't know, it's okay, but it's kind of in your face. It sounds okay, but I don't know, this just feels a lot better. Just bigger, a bit more tamed in the high end. So yeah, I really like adding this IR to the mix. Then we have the chorus that we've seen. It's a very simple chorus. Let me do like a on-off situation. Okay, pretty nice old school sounding chorus, perfect if you want to blend in the mix of the band and add a bit of vibe. Then we have the heliosphere delay, so it's a delay that has a reverb in the delay trail, so it's really nice for the ambient stuff if I play the same type of thing. Perfect if you want to do like an intro or like a breakdown section. You can add the chorus to it if you want extra vibe. That could be the intro to your next R&B Afro banger, I guess. So that's the Snapshot 2 heliosphere. And then we have, let me go back to Snapshot 1. We have just a legacy plate reverb. I really like how it sounds. So let's do a before and after, I guess. So this is with and without. Really dry, nice for funk again. So yeah, this is what I mostly use it for. So I guess that's it for the individual stomp boxes. Then on the global settings, I always use a -5 level here, so I keep some headroom. I don't want anything clipping within the unit, and the hardware volume of the unit that you can pop out here is always maxed out. The reason for that is that I always want to give a consistent volume to my sound tech, so it makes mixing easier for the sound engineer. On the global EQ, it's pretty much flat. Like the low cut is 60 Hertz, so it doesn't really do anything because the guitar doesn't really generate anything interesting below 60 Hertz anyways. Then this is all flat. I didn't touch any of that. As you can tell, the gain is at 0 on all these frequencies. And then high cut at 12K, but then electric guitar doesn't generate anything interesting above 8K, or I could even take it more down, but this is fine as is. So yeah, there's not much going on the global EQ. The tone is pretty much dialed in from the amp EQ and the IR that I'm using. So yeah, definitely check this preset out if you like the tones. There's a link in the description if you want to get this preset pack. It also includes a preset that uses the poly pitch and a preset that uses, I can actually show you right now really quick. So it's essentially the same type of blocks. We have the boost distortion, the chorus, the delay, which is the heliosphere, and the plate reverb. Then the amp and the IR that are going through the main output of the unit, so you can get a stereo output to your sound engineer. And then there's a split just before it hits the amp, and it goes through an EQ if you need it, but then most importantly, the output is actually the send from the HX STOMP. So you can actually send a stereo mix to your sound tech, to a DI, to the front of house, and then use an amp on stage if you want to monitor what you're doing without the amp simulation. So you can have kind of best of both worlds, having an amp on stage that is not mic'd up, that you can kind of dial in how you want as a monitor, that won't have all the amp emulation, and then send a stereo mix with the amp emulation and the IR to your sound engineer. That is pretty handy. Other than that, it's the same architecture of the preset with the toggle between snapshots, snapshot 3, 4, the boost, chorus, and reverb. The only thing that we had to give up for this preset is the compressor, which is kind of an acceptable loss, I guess, because you have to put in a block on the path B to create that splitting, and I'd rather have an EQ on there to be able to kind of tame or have a specific dedicated level from the EQ for the output that goes to the amplifier. So yeah, you have this preset, and then you have the one that has the same architecture as well, like ambient, rhythm, leads, clean, and then it has all kind of creative effects, and this is using the poly pitch. A lot of people have been complaining that you can't really use the poly pitch with a lot of effects, and I kind of figured out like a way to get the poly pitch with a distortion, an amp, an IR, a delay, tremolo, and an EQ, and a compressor. So you can pretty much do almost anything using the poly pitch in this preset. So yeah, I'll make a separate video on this, but it's included in the pack, so definitely check it out if you like what you hear. Take care, guys. I hope this was insightful. I hope this wasn't too long, and I'll speak to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.